Alright, so starting the pre-check, first thing we check is the battery isolator. Make sure there's no lockout tag, and then we turn the isolator on. Walking towards the front, make sure the battery is secure with the tags and there's no obvious damage to the exhaust or the air intake system. Crane should be all locked away. There's a lot of sensors that check to make sure that it's locked in position. The locking pins and the ROP system is completely folded down and locked into place. The fire extinguisher is also restrained in its cradle. Once we do a visual check on the outside of the cab, we then move down, make sure the mirrors are intact, all the wheel nut indicators are in their correct position, there's no oil around the rim, and the tyre is out of a good inflation level. Moving around, no damage to any panels, no damage to the glass, the beacon is operating correctly, the bull bar is secure using its two locking pins and its central pin. No hanging down items, no items that are damaged or in incorrect position. Moving along, making sure that the mirror is down, there's no damage to the glass, the steps are all intact, the tyre is inflated, all the wheel nut indicators are correct, there's no oil coming from the diff, no oil or coolant inside the wheel arches or underneath, no visible signs of damage to the electrical components, air systems or springs. Fire extinguisher on the driver's side is locked in position, no damage to the AdBlue tank. Make sure that the cap is in position to stop any contaminants getting inside the AdBlue system. The cab jack selector arm is in the down position, which is facing upwards, which stops the cab coming unattached. Crane once again locked in and the selector arm in the stop position. Fuel cap is here, make sure that it's secure and adequate fuel level is added through there. Toolbox, both handles are in the lock position and everything inside is secure and not going to bang. And the handle's locked down. The entry handles, there's also a little locking tab under here is in place to stop it bouncing out. Secure, make sure it doesn't come out. Moving down to the driven axle, mud flap is still restrained, not coming into the leading edge of the tyre. The springs are clear of any debris, there's no distortions, it's still in workable condition. There's no stones stuck between the two driven tyres. Tyre pressure, indicator nuts, and also any oil or contaminants inside the rim. Rear mud flap still restrained, not drifting into the back of the tyre. Having a general look around underneath the rear of the vehicle, making sure that the springs are clean, there's no debris, there's nothing that stands out as not being correct. The shock absorbers, the main sway bar, which is the large round metal bar that goes across, all that is there. The brake boosters are still attached correctly, and generally everything looks in its right position. Rear tail lights are free from damage, rear cameras free from damage, trailer attachments are all good, and all the electrical attachments at the rear are still in undamaged and functional. Looking at the underneath of the vehicle, making sure there's no damage, still clear from debris, clearing rocks on the passenger side between the two tyres on the driven axle. Mud flaps are secure. We're having a bit of look around, make sure that there's nothing hanging down. Coming down to the air tanks, we can make sure that there's no water collecting in the bottom of the air tanks using the drain valves, just with a quick flick of the finger. Taking a couple of steps back, just having a look, make sure the drive shafts look like they're secure. There's no visible oil leaks from any of the major components underneath the engine. There's no signs of wiring or air lines have been displaced underneath the truck. And this is all free and clear, ready for access, along with the handle with its locking on the same side. That's the walk around from the outside. Okay, so entering, opening the door handle, making sure the door is all the way open. 3 points of contact at all times, getting into the cab. nice wide steps, moving your hand up as required, and into the cab. The seat adjustment for depth is between your legs. For the steering wheel adjustment, is directly underneath the middle of the steering wheel and unlocks it so that you can adjust it into the position that you wish. Brake and accelerator from this side. The brake and the accelerator. Okay. Ignition key is placed in here. We'll wait for all the lights to go out on the dash and then we can start the engine up. The truck will go through a self-check, making sure that the coolant, the engine oil and all the globes are in a check, and we can display that on the dash using the menu select up and down key on the left hand side of the steering wheel. So we can see that all the lights are working correctly. And that the oil is okay, AdBlue level is okay, and along with the braking system. If the coolant level is low, the engine simply will not start. Starting from the left hand side, we have our gear selection, drive, neutral, reverse, interior light switch, retarder master switch, the power takeoff to activate the crane is activated from there, off-road driving mode selector, ABS master switch, hazard lights, beacons, rear work lights and air horn master switch. Climate control is down here on the left hand side. Fog lights and headlights operate from this control here. Spotlights and active stability response operate from this control panel here. Down here we have the headlight adjustment for height, and we have our 4x4 and diff lock control selector. Currently the truck is in on-road mode, giving you 60% drive to the rear, 40% to the front. One switch to the left puts it into low range, making sure that the main gearbox is in neutral. Center diff lock, rear diff lock, front diff lock, all in low range to the left, and to the right in high range, center, rear, and then the front from there. Retarder master handle and gear selector. Idle up is by pressing the cruise control button, and then you can control the idle speed using the plus and minuses at the end of the gear, at the end of the stalk. Retarder, 6 stages, pulling back towards you, operated from the stalk. Manual gear change, down, reducing the gears, up, increasing the gears. Pressing drive, neutral or reverse selects the gear, making sure that we go in between the gear as we change the forward or rear motion of the vehicle. Drive and reverse come in 3 modes. Drive will go into auto, up here displaying that it's in 3rd gear and automatic. The truck will then change gears as it sees need to, up and down the gearbox as a normal automatic car would. When we press the D button again, we go into semi-automatic mode, where we can manually change our gears using the control stalk on the right hand side. The truck will not allow you to damage it, but will allow you to rev outside the normal green band. We then have slow mode, which is designed to allow the truck to move smoothly into tight areas such as a loading dock. And we do that by holding the button down for 2 seconds, and it will engage as slow mode in the gearbox selector up here. We then can also change the gears here on the selection stalk. Going to reverse requires going to neutral first. Neutral and reverse. We've got the reverse gear up, which is the reverse gear low, and we can go into reverse gear high to give us a increased reversing speed. Once again, semi mode, auto mode, and slow mode can all be selected using the gear selection panel ANR. Whenever we move the 4x4 selection between high and low range, the vehicle also needs to be in neutral. When low range is selected, it'll be indicated using the turtle on the left hand side of the display panel, and when we add diff locks, we see orange warning lights and the diff lock selection screen highlighting which ones have been included. Remembering the front differential lock will dramatically increase the turning circle. Moving back to highway mode. Above your head, we have the radio, which also operates on the steering wheel controls. This black box is not required in Australia, it's just here as an extra and serves no purpose in this operation. Your fire control panel, the radio, and 3 sun visors across the front. We have our mirror adjustment here on the driver's side and heated mirrors. When we select the mirror, it brings up on the center control panel which mirror is going to be adjusted, and we can manipulate the 4 side mirrors using the control panel here, and then the up, down, left, right arrow selection key. The front mirror and the side mirror are only adjustable manually externally. Cannot be done from inside the cab. We have 3 storage compartments in the dash here, and 1 in the top bin on the passenger side. Behind us we have 2 water bottle holders capable of holding 1 litre water bottles. There is also a document storage facility here and under seat storage in the passenger and the driver's side.